I was repairing a dead satellite relay on the edge of the Kestrel belt when my life quietly ended, and something far bigger began. At the time, I didn't know I was being watched. To me, it was just another salvage job. Cold vacuum. Rusted metal. The steady hum of my suit's oxygen system keeping me alive while Earth's forgotten machines drifted like bones in space. I was nobody important, just Elias Wren, freelance engineer, licensed scavenger, human background noise in a universe that barely noticed us anymore. That changed the moment my visor flared white. My HUD glitched. Sensors screamed. Gravity folded inward like space itself had inhaled. Then I heard a voice. Not through my comms. Inside my head. I have finally found you. Before I could panic, the stars vanished. The princess who knew my name. I woke on a floor that shimmered like liquid crystal. The air was warm, breathable, faintly scented with ozone, and something floral I couldn't name. Above me arched a ceiling of living light, constellations moving as if the ship, or palace, was alive. I scrambled to my feet, heart hammering, and that's when I saw her. She stood at the far end of the chamber, surrounded by floating hologlyphs and armored guards that looked more grown than built. Her skin shimmered with a soft iridescence, not quite human but close enough to be unsettling. Her eyes were deep violet, ancient, and unbearably focused. A crown hovered above her head, rotating slowly, made of pure energy. An alien princess. She stepped forward. Elias Wren, she said calmly. Human. Age 32. Born in the Pacific Ruins. Genetic anomaly classification. Convergence carrier. I stared. You abducted the wrong guy. A ghost of a smile touched her lips. No, she said. We nearly lost you forever. A search that spanned galaxies. Her name was Princess Aurelice of the Lithari Dominion, a civilization so old that humanity's entire recorded history fit inside one of their footnotes. They didn't conquer worlds. They curated them, observed timelines, protected cosmic balance. And for years, my years, they had been searching for one human in particular. Me. Aurelice explained that millennia ago, the universe fractured itself. Not physically, but causally. Certain events echoed across timelines, creating instability, tears where reality could collapse inward. The Lithari discovered that only rare beings, born at precise cosmic intersections, could stabilize these fractures. They were called convergence carriers. Most were Lithari. One was human. Me. You were born during a tristellar alignment, Aurelice said as we walked through halls of living glass, exposed to residual quantum radiation from a collapsed wormhole. Your biology adapted. I laughed, sharp and nervous. So what? I'm radioactive. No, she replied softly. You are anchored. Apparently, my presence alone could stabilize collapsing space-time. I didn't need to activate anything. I just had to exist in the right place at the right time. That was why they'd been searching for me for years. And why others had been hunting me too. The enemy I never knew I had. The Lithari weren't the only ones who understood what I was. There was another faction, the Void Synod, a species that fed on entropy itself. Where universes collapsed, they thrived. They didn't want stability. They wanted ending. And my existence threatened their entire way of being. They have erased entire civilizations to prevent the rise of convergence carriers, Aurelice said grimly. We concealed you as long as we could. Alter records. Jammed scans. But you drifted too close to the Kestrel belt fracture. That salvage job hadn't been random. It had been bait. The Synod attacked the Lithari vessel before I could process any of this. Space tore open, vomiting creatures made of darkness and broken physics. Alarms sang. Gravity twisted. Guards dissolved into light. Aurelius grabbed my hand. "Stay near me," she said, "or reality will not hold." We ran, learning what I was. We escaped, barely, into a pocket dimension where time flowed slower. Days passed while weeks burned outside. The literary scientists studied me, scanning my cells, my neural patterns, my memories. That part hurt the most, because buried inside me was something I'd never understood. My childhood nightmares, dreams of collapsing stars, of standing at the center of storms that bent the sky, of voices whispering hold while everything tried to tear apart. They weren't dreams. They were echoes, fragments of fractures I'd unknowingly stabilized throughout my life, small ones. Car accidents that should have happened, but didn't. Systems that miraculously held together when they statistically shouldn't have. I wasn't lucky. I was necessary. And Aurelius had known about me since before I was born. "I watched your world for decades," she admitted one night as twin suns rose over the artificial horizon. "I was assigned to your timeline." "You could have told me," I said bitterly. "You were a child," she replied. And I was already attached. That word lingered between us. The choice. The Synod found us again. This time they didn't come with weapons. They came with an offer. A rift opened, and a being of living void spoke directly into my mind. "Come with us, convergence. End the struggle. Let universes die naturally." They promised peace. No running. No responsibility. If I joined them, I wouldn't have to hold reality together anymore. I could finally be normal. Aurelie stood beside me, silent. "If you go," she said, voice steady but eyes afraid, "this universe will fracture within centuries. Mine first. Yours soon after." "And if I stay?" I asked. "Then you will never be free." I thought of Earth, of the quiet stars, of how small I'd always felt. Then I realized something. I wasn't small. I was placed. "I'll stay," I said. The Synod screamed, not in anger, but hunger, and attacked, becoming more than human. The final battle didn't look like war. It looked like existence breaking. Aurelius and I stood at the center of a collapsing star rift as time folded in on itself. The literary poured energy into me, amplifying what I already was. Pain tore through every memory, every cell. I felt universes brushing against me like passing thoughts. And I held. I didn't fight the fracture. I embraced it. The rift stabilized. The Synod unraveled, starved of entropy. Space healed with a thunderous silence. When it was over, I collapsed. Aurelius caught me. "You did it," she whispered. "No," I said weakly. "We did." The ending that wasn't an end. I couldn't go back to my old life. Earth would never feel real again, not after touching infinity. So I stayed with the literary, not as a prisoner, not as a weapon, but as a guardian anchor, stationed at the edges of reality where fractures threatened to form. I learned. I adapted. I changed. And Aurelius remained by my side, not just as a princess, but as a partner who had searched for me across years and stars because the universe itself had tied our paths together. Sometimes I still look out at the void and think about the man I was, the scavenger fixing dead machines in forgotten orbits. But now, when the stars tremble, they call my name. Because I was never just human. And that is why the alien princess had been searching for me for years.